Good evening. Welcome back to Open Line. I'm Carrie Sharp. Dr. Allen from Vanderbilt University Medical Center is joining us tonight to talk about all things COVID and especially immunity. We want to get right to the phone lines as promised. Aaron is up first. Aaron, thank you for kicking off the night with questions. Go ahead.
Hey, how are y'all?
I'm good. How are you?
Hey, doing good. Love the program, by the way.
Good. Thank you. Go ahead.
All right. He has got a great smile.
Thank you for that.
He does. I have two types of cancer. And I went to see a friend of mine several weeks back who's got COVID. And I thought, well, I'm already going to, I'm going to leave this earth quickly. And I don't worry about that. Anyway, I was going, and I sit here and I did not get it. Am I a symptom? What do they call it? Asymptomatic to it, or what?
Yeah.
And the other thing is that back about 4 years ago, I got the flu B. It was the A is like the normal. B is, I went into like Kroger, the Minute Clinic, and I put something on my face. And I'm gonna tell you what, my temperature was racing hot in the wintertime. I opened up my windows in my house and I turned off my heater just so I cannot, I can literally sleep at night without sweating to death. And I knew I was highly contagious. And this was way back when. And they drew blood, they sent it down to the CDC to find out. I mean, what is, something, just me going into my friend's house literally knowing he has it.
And how did you not get it? Or you think you don't have it?
Yeah. And what I did is that after I went there, I came back to my house and I quarantined myself just for, giggles. Just in case. I don't want to be that person,
Sure.
Yeah.
So.
Well, let's see what the doctor has to say about it. Aaron, I'm going to hang up so you can listen to your TV. It's just easier that way. And best wishes to you. Sound like you have a great attitude about life. So thank you for calling in tonight. Dr. Allen, what do you say? Because that is an interesting scenario. You would think with cancer, he would have a compromised immune system.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So first of all, Aaron, thank you for your question, and I definitely tell you that we empathize with your health situation. But thank you for the question, because it does lead into something, and that is compromised health. Right. So given the fact that you do have cancer, and I know you mentioned two different forms of cancer, your immune system is compromised, likely just as a result of the cancer, as well as you probably are undergoing treatment. So ideally, we would have advised you against going into the home of anyone that has any symptoms of COVID. Now, as it relates to why you may be asymptomatic, or you may not have actually even caught COVID, I hope that when you went into the home, you actually exhibited some safety precautions in terms of maintaining safe distance away. You wore a mask. All of these safety parameters that we put into place are done so in the hopes of preventing this aerolized, aerolized virus particles from being inhaled and resulting in transmission of the virus. And exactly why it is that you are not exhibiting symptoms, or you may not have gotten COVID, I can't tell you. I can tell you though that it's a blessing, because as it relates to the severe effects that are related with getting COVID in people that are immunocompromised, they are pretty bad. So I would tell you overall, it may just be one of those things, a scientific miracle, and we'll count our blessings on it.
Yeah. All right, let's go back to the phone lines. Cole is waiting ever so patiently. Hi, Cole. Go ahead.
Hello.
Hi there. Go ahead with your question.
My question is, all right, I've got a Hello.
Yeah, go ahead. It's best to just listen to your telephone and turn down that TV. It makes it easier.
My family, throughout the process,
it's been a long year. Okay. Here, let me do that. Hold on real quick.
Okay. And this is just a reminder to all viewers, just make sure that you turn down that TV if you're waiting on the line. It just makes it easier to hear once we actually take it. Go ahead, Cole.
There we go. All right, I'm sorry about that.
It's okay.
But my question is, throughout this entire process, my youngest son, he's asthmatic, things like that. We haven't done anything different throughout this entire thing. We didn't run out and buy all the hand sanitizer. We did not go out and hoard, groceries and this and that. And my question is, why would, and I know no one, not one person, that has died or been afflicted with this virus at all. Would you, would an able-bodied, and no one's gotten sick, no one in my household. And I don't splash my children with hand sanitizer, and, I didn't panic because it's a virus, and more people die from a lot of other things than this. Why would, and another thing, herd immunity, it's hard. And
Cole, you cut out there just a second when you said herd immunity. What was the next part?
The next part is, why would you? First off, it's just weird, and there's three different places, three different companies that are producing this vaccine. None of them are approved by the FDA. Why would anybody that had any sense put a drug into your body that you don't even know and it's experimental? Why would I sacrifice that? Yeah. And there's already been all kinds of cases of things happening, and I'm not doing it. And if it's what I want to know from as a doctor, this cannot be mandated, because me and my family will not take this virus. This vaccine, we will not take it. I don't trust it, because there's no proof of anything that it's actually effective. There's no proof of that. What happens in 20 years? You know what I mean? I've got loved ones to think about, and I just don't. I think it's really weird that they're mandating this in colleges with children and young. I've got a daughter in the Navy, and I've got another son that's going to school at UT Knoxville starting in the fall. And if it's mandated they take it, what about the students that have already had the vaccine? I know you touched on that a little bit.
Or you mean the virus? The students who have already had the virus? Yeah.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
But if they've already had the virus, why would they have to still take the vaccine? And why are people still required to wear masks when you've already had the vaccine?
Yeah.
Aren't you safe now?
A lot of good questions there. Let's get to it with the doctor so we can get some of those answered, because I think a lot of people are in Cole's boat, or they're saying, I don't want to put this in my body. We don't know what the effects are going to be in years to come. So let's start with that one.
Okay. So yeah, Cole had multi-layered questions. Yes. I appreciate it, Cole. And actually, I'll tell you the truth. You are the individual that I am looking to speak to. So the virus itself, although it has not impacted your family, it has in fact affected quite a few families in America. I think at last count, we were at 586,000 total deaths related to COVID-19 in America. And I can tell you, just me personally, I've had a few friends that are factored into that number, unfortunately. So it's great that it has not impacted you personally yet. But what we are trying to do as healthcare professionals is to allow that yet to continue, right? So the more people that we get vaccinated, the less disease that we have. The less disease that we have, the less hospitalizations, the less deaths. And ultimately, we get to what we all want, is the lifting of restrictions, and so that's where we want to get to. Now, touching back on a point you mentioned about the vaccines and whether or not they're effective or they work. So there are actually 4 vaccines. There are 2 adenovirus vaccines, which will be the AstraZeneca and the Johnson & Johnson. And then we also have the Pfizer vaccine as well as the Moderna vaccine, which are the mRNA-based vaccines. Just speaking plain on the Pfizer vaccine. It has proven to be 95% effective in preventing COVID-19 infections. It has been 100% effective in preventing deaths from individuals impacted with COVID-19 that have had the vaccine. We have seen some breakthrough as it relates to individuals that have had the virus, had both shots and are inoculated, and they have had some breakthrough, but that breakthrough has actually been very, very minimal in that that number is 0.007% of individuals that have been inoculated with both sets of the Pfizer vaccine have experienced symptoms related to COVID. So I'll tell you, it's a scientific marvel in terms of the vaccines that we had. And in fact, the individuals that are going out and getting the vaccines may actually be the reason, Cole, that more people in your family or around you have not been impacted, because those individuals that have gone out, got the vaccines, have prevented the disease itself from being transmitted at much, much higher levels. So that would be my short answer to him, Carrie.
He also talked about something I've heard a lot of people say, why are masks still mandated if you've been vaccinated? And I know you're not on the government side of thing and the mandate side of thing, but on the scientific side of thing, medically, why, if you've been vaccinated and these vaccinations are so effective, why do you have to wear your mask?
Absolutely, and there's a simple solution to that, Carrie, and it's actually it's interesting in that I've been vaccinated, but I wear my mask not necessarily to protect me. I wear my mask to protect individuals like Cole who have not been vaccinated, because the masks themselves are actually not so much meant to protect you. They're meant to cover your face, your nose, and prevent those aerolized particles from going out into the air and infecting others. So that's why masks are important when you're around individuals that have not been vaccinated. But individuals that have been vaccinated, if you take a look, the CDC has actually just recently changed the guidelines, which is great. If you go outside and you've been vaccinated, you're no longer required to wear a mask as long as you're not in a crowded setting. If you're at a home event, a gathering, and you're amongst individuals who have all been vaccinated, you are no longer required to wear a mask. And even if you're at a home event and you're around individuals that have all been vaccinated in one household that has not been vaccinated, you cannot wear a mask. As long as the individuals in that household that have not been vaccinated are not high risk, and they're not exhibiting signs and symptoms of COVID. So that would be the answer.
We touched a little bit on this earlier, that herd immunity, the percentages that our health experts wanted to achieve right when this vaccine rollout came about, not very realistic that we're seeing we're going to get there. We're not going to get to 60, 70, 80%. And I read in an article that really the goal now is to make the threat manageable. And to do that, it's focusing on getting the high-risk population vaccinated, people of advanced age, because we know COVID is particularly bad for the elderly. Is that what you're seeing and hearing in the medical community now?
Yes, absolutely. And I'll be honest, a lot of those people that are high risk, they were on the front lines ready to get the vaccine, right? And so now we've shifted, and now we're dealing with individuals that I call second generation enthusiasts, right? Now, this is a term that's just me. It's not nothing medical. But I'll tell you what I mean when I say this, is that when a new iPhone comes out, right, you have individuals that line up to get the new iPhone. But then there's a whole second population that say, nope, I'm not getting the first generation. I'm going to let them work the bugs out first, and then I'll get the second generation. So for me, we're targeting the second generation enthusiasts really hard and helping these individuals see the benefits of the vaccine, hopefully, both for themselves and their surrounding community. Vaccine hesitancy and urgency, it's a real thing. But what we have to do as healthcare professionals is meet people on the level where they are, go in, educate and inform people on a grassroots level as to what COVID-19 is, the risk it relates to them and their families, and how the vaccine can be a great tool to decrease disease within our community.
And still know that the spread of this virus is going to also depend on things like sanitation in a community, crowdedness in a community, the age of an overall community, things like that. That is still always going to be a factor.
Correct. Absolutely, Carrie. Absolutely. You're hitting the nail on the head. These secondary factors definitely will always play in. But I think the big thing is that if we have, a common mindset of, hey, listen, we are trying to limit this disease as much as we can. And the best tool that we have to do that is via vaccinations. I think that is the best mindset we can be in as a community in Nashville.
All right, we have to take another quick break. When we come back, I want to talk to you more about what you're seeing on those x-rays for long haulers and people who have had COVID for a long time. And we'll take more of your questions, so give us a call, 615-737-PLUS.